You dog! Damn it!
Welcome to the motherfucking we're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. The official word from the WBO as it pertains to the mandated fight between Ramla Ali and America's own Micaiah Kreps for what is the WBO title, San Juan, Puerto Rico, July 24th, 2026. The World Boxing Organization hereby announces that the previously scheduled purse bid proceedings for the vacant WBO IBF Unified Female Junior Featherweight World Championship, which had been set for Monday, July 27th at 11 a.m. at the World Boxing Organization's main offices in San Juan, Puerto Rico, have been terminated effective immediately. The decision follows the receipt of a written confirmation via electronic email from the respective representatives of DeBella Entertainment,
DeBella? I thought he was out of boxing.
and Most Valuable Promotions, advising that the parties have successfully reached a mutual agreement governing the promotion of the championship contest. Accordingly, the necessity of conducting purse bid proceedings has been rendered moot, and the WBO and IBF hereby cancel the scheduled purse bid in its entirety.
So Lou DeBella's involvement must have been representing Micaiah Kreps, and Most Valuable Promotions would have so obviously been representing Ramla Ali.
The WBO commends both promotional entities for their professionalism and cooperative efforts in reaching an amicable resolution through direct negotiations. Such agreements serve the best interests of the athletes, the sport, and boxing fans worldwide by allowing the championship to proceed without further administrative proceedings. The date, venue, and additional details pertaining to the championship contest will be announced by the promoters in due course. The World Boxing Organization looks forward to crowning a new unified WBO IBF Junior Featherweight World Champion in what promises to be a significant championship event for women's boxing.
Initially, I thought it was just going to be the WBO title on the line. Apparently, the IBF title will also be on the line.
That's convenient. It makes crowning a new undisputed champion in the absence of Ellie Scottney, who is moving up in weight, that much easier.
Via Ramla Ali's own social media, a lengthy caption that reads, Alhamdulillah, that's a wrap on mine and my hubby's debut feature film, #NotLikeUs. Calling this a journey doesn't quite cover it. Thank you to every single person, cast and crew, who believed in us, understood the assignment, and let us tell the story with the honesty and humor it deserved. To my family, who have always been there and who I couldn't have created this without, literally, and a massive thank you to those already showing us incredible love. To the people who've decided, without seeing a single frame, without knowing what this story is actually about, that my husband and I no longer deserve their support and have given us hate and threats. Instead, your support didn't get my family through Mogadishu. It didn't raise me in London. It didn't care for my father when he was sick. It didn't pay my bills. It didn't put me through law school. My battles in and out of the ring weren't won or lost because of your support or the lack thereof. So bun your support. We only fear Allah. Alhamdulillah.
This film was made with love, for the community, with the community. So thank you to all those who continue to support me within it, no matter what.
I wish Ramla Ali and her hubby all the best on their feature film and that endeavor, though as it pertains to boxing and the boxing match that she's ordered to have, if she actually has it, unfortunately I think she's gonna lose. Ramla Ali has been juggling a lot of careers,
Wearing a lot of hats. The pugilist, the model, now the producer and director, the actress.
it's a lot, and boxing is a very jealous sport.
Whereas what you see in Micaiah Kreps, her opponent from the United States, is a lot more direct, a lot more focused. She's not juggling this and that. She's a boxer through and through, a very talented one, what I think is a very dangerous one. And I think Ramla's gonna lose. I think this will be Micaiah Kreps' segue to an MVP deal.
The fight between them, I expect it to happen in either the fall or winter months, perhaps on the undercard of Amanda Serrano's next fight, not the one that she's about to have on TikTok.
What is set to be her swan song on the island of Puerto Rico, I wouldn't be surprised to see this fight land
on that undercard, and I expect Makaya's gonna win.
I don't think Lou DiBella will stand in the way of Micaiah Kreps migrating over to MVP. He didn't stand in the way of Shernika Johnson doing the same thing, and he used to represent her, among others.
It's not gonna be a problem.
This very much is Ramla Ali's shot at the big time, her opportunity to finally become a world champion, though unfortunately, I feel like she's juggling too many things, and she's the older fighter in the fight, so I favor Micaiah to win it, who I've long maintained she's one of the very best fighters at 122 that you've never heard of. But you're about to see her.
You're about to hear about her. All we have to wait for now is an official announcement from MVP, who I've no doubts will be at the helm of the promotion, and
we'll talk more about it as the fight date approaches.
Unfortunately, they've put him in an awful position in and out of the ring. And I'll tell you something else. I take these kind of accusations unbelievably seriously. You've seen it before in the past. You want to mention my name when you talk about corruption in boxing. I've instructed my lawyers today to write to his lawyers and let him know you withdraw me from that complaint, you retract any statement, or I will sue you for defamation. Because you don't talk about me like that, mate. Not in this sport and not in the way we do business. We have a reputation of over 40 years, which is completely squeaky clean across all sport. We are unprecedented in terms of the level that we operate at and the legitimacy of our business. So I'm sorry, Jai Opetaia, and it's not, maybe it's not even your fault. People told you to do this, but those people want to be smart. You will pay the price. And that letter is gone today to their legal team.
The extent in which Eddie Hearn is mentioned as far as colluding with the sanctioning bodies and the other promoters, at least to my knowledge, is a statement that he made.
that's what it's based on, when he said that the IBF would be reaching a decision on Jai Opetaia shortly, in which shortly after that they decided to strip him, accents that Eddie Hearn either had prior knowledge of what the IBF was going to do because he's been colluding with them, or he just knows what's going to happen because he's been in the sport long enough to know what's going to happen. But that is what they mentioned, and the quote is real.
That's not up for discussion. What's up for debate is whether or not Eddie Hearn and the other promoters, along with the sanctioning bodies, conspired against Jai Opetaia. That is what Zuffa and Jai's lawyers have to prove.
Collusion.
It is true that Matchroom's reputation in the sport is a lot better than, say, Golden Boy Promotions is, or the PBC's. You won't hear anyone screaming about how they were shorted by Matchroom, that Matchroom owes them money. You won't hear them say about Eddie what they say about Oscar, that he was hiding money and skimming money off the top. You won't hear them say about Eddie what Floyd Mayweather says about Al Heyman.
And what Adrian Broner said also.
Matchroom has a better reputation even than Top Rank, who are the gold standard in the industry as far as identifying and vetting talent, developing world-class fighters, but a lot of their fighters have left them on less than amicable terms.
Matchroom really does have a squeaky clean reputation.
Thus explaining why Eddie Hearn is not taking any of this lying down. He won't let Jai Opetaia drag his name in the mud over his beef with the IBF. I think that collusion, in a very general sense, is difficult to prove, because if it's happening, it's got to be behind closed doors. It can't be out in the open.
That's how it works.
Sort of conglomerate of individuals all working together to create an unfair marketplace for a respective party. That's what collusion is. If the sanctioning bodies are working with promoters to discourage fighters from signing to Zuffa, that would accent collusion.
It doesn't simply accent collusion, it is collusion.
Though to prove it, you would need a smoking gun, audio, video, text correspondence, emails, to prove that behind the scenes, all of these respective parties got together to create an unfair marketplace for the affected party.
The article I read the other day detailed that they do have some sort of correspondence between the sanctioning bodies and the promoters. I don't know if Eddie Hearn is a part of that, because they mentioned a lot of people.
The only mention of Eddie I saw was that quote from him, and that's an official quote. It exists. They can back it up.
Though it's anecdotal.
It's not a smoking gun. It doesn't prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Eddie Hearn had prior knowledge of what the IBF was going to do. Could have made that inference as a professional anecdote, an insight, not because he's colluding with anybody, but because the IBF has their own reputation.
So does this absolve the IBF of any culpability?
Not really. When Eddie Hearn eats, the IBF doesn't shit. And the IBF as a sanctioning body still painted themselves into a corner by executing this the way that they did. Just 2 days before the fight, giving Jai Opetaia little choice but to go through with it at the expense of his belt. You initially sanctioned the fight. That is proven. That's why your representatives were there. That's why your belt was on display during fight week. So that 2 days before the fight, just 2 days, you can renege? You can play Indian giver? It doesn't look good.
In a very general sense, Zuffa can afford to take this to court more than the IBF can.
Many years ago, well over a decade, the IBF found themselves in hot water over just this kind of stuff.
Did you ever wonder why the IBF is such a straight shooter and so stringent with their rules? It's because a long time ago, they didn't used to be. They were one of the most corrupt organizations in all of boxing. Federal oversight forced them to clean up their act.
And they've been playing by the rules ever since, only recently, seemingly bending them to castigate Jai Opetaia for the promoter that he signed to. You don't really think this is just about a trinket title, a Zuffa belt, do you?
This is about discouraging fighters from signing to Zuffa.
This is about making an example out of Jai Opetaia to scare what champions they have into not signing to Zuffa under penalty of losing their belts. I think there is collusion going on, though whether or not Zuffa can prove it is quite another matter.
We'll see.
Alternatively, Zuffa can afford to take this to court more than the IBF can. They've got longer money than the IBF. So in the end, it may not boil down to what you can prove, but who can really afford this battle? Jai Opetaia was stripped of the title approximately 5 or 6 months ago, and the IBF has not crowned a new IBF champion 5 or 6 months later, likely because they knew Zuffa had this lawsuit in their back pocket. They want to leave the door open to perhaps make it all go away by just giving this guy his belt back. This is more trouble than it's worth.
The easiest and cheapest fix for all of this to make it all just go away is to reinstate him.
Just in keeping with the theme of things that Eddie Hearn said, Eddie Hearn called Tyson Fury shot after the VOC win in Thailand earlier today. Tyson Fury's performance in his comeback win over Marius VOC did nothing to change Eddie Hearn's view of a future fight with Anthony Joshua.
Still backing his man to win, but I defy you to show me a scenario where Eddie Hearn wasn't already doing that I think, irrespective of how Tyson Fury did or didn't look,
good or bad, Eddie Hearn is always going to back his man. So Tyson Fury's performance, to me, has little bearing over what Eddie Hearn actually meant, actually said. After watching Fury stop the 46-year-old VOC in 7 rounds in Thailand on Friday, Hearn said the former heavyweight champion no longer looks like the fighter who beat Vladimir Klitschko or dominated Deontay Wilder during their trilogy. If Joshua delivers the type of performance Hearn expects against Christian Prenga on Saturday, he believes Joshua will enter a meeting with Fury as the heavy favorite. I think he's shot, Hearn said to IFL TV. Shot is probably a little harsh, but shot compared to what he once was. That's what I think. Hearn said he watched portions of Fury's bout before reaching that conclusion. I'm watching the Arslanbek Makhmudov fight. I'm watching this, the timing, the speed of foot. I just don't think he's got it anymore, Hearn said.
we know where he would have watched the Arslanbek Makhmudov fight. That was broadcasted via Netflix, so he would have seen that there. But where did he watch the VOC fight?
The VOC fight did not have a broadcast partner. It was supposed to be a charity event, an intimate setting over there in Thailand.
I guess that Eddie Hearn must have come across the same highlights afterwards that we were all watching. It's the only way I figure.
The old saying goes that you're only really as good as your last fight, and that's only half true. Do I think that Tyson Fury had the same kind of training camp for Marius VOC that he would have for Anthony Joshua when the time comes? And the short answer is no. I think that Tyson Fury would take an AJ fight, an AJ camp, a bit more seriously, so that if he got out there earlier today and fought half-hearted, on cruise control,
I would still expect a better version of him to show up for an AJ fight. Hearn said He watched portions of Fury's bout before reaching that conclusion. I'm watching the Makhmudov fight. I'm watching this. The timing, the speed of foot. I just don't think he's got it anymore, Hearn said. I've always believed AJ knocks him out. I'm absolutely 100% convinced. But we've still got to prove ourselves, Hearn admitted. Joshua also has something to demonstrate following his knockout loss to Daniel Dubois in his win over Jake Paul. AJ got stopped by Daniel Dubois, came back, fought Jake Paul, that's it. Who's to say AJ's the same fighter that he once was, Hearn said. I believe he is, but you've still got to show it.
Although Eddie believes Fury has declined, he still expects him to perform better against elite opponents. I think Fury will always raise his game against the opposition, Hearn said. He's done it so many times in his career, proved me wrong half a dozen times in fights that I thought he'd lose. But I just don't believe if AJ can look how I hope he looks tomorrow, he will go into this fight as a massive favorite. Hearn made the comment shortly after Fury's stoppage of Vok, offering an immediate critique of the former heavyweight champion's performance.
You didn't hear me spend a lot of time on Tyson Fury's fight with Vok in the build-up because what is there to say? He's gonna win the fight, we all know it.
And it's the same way with AJ tomorrow, opposite the ring Christian Prenga. I believe that because it's been such a long time since Anthony fought a legitimate pugilist, a real boxer, not Jake Paul, somebody who's for real.
Seriously.
I think he's gonna carry the guy. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ's fight lasts about as long as Fury's, 6 or 7 rounds, because AJ needs them. Real rounds against a real fighter who's really trying to fight, really trying to hurt him, to work on what he's been working on with Alexander Usyk and that new team.
He's not gonna kill him quick. If you do that, then what was the point?
And that's the most that I have to say about it. I expect Anthony to win tomorrow, the same way I expected Tyson Fury to win today. There has been the usual back and forth between the two fighters and the two teams. Tyson Fury said this, and then Anthony Joshua said that, though at this point, I can't be bothered to split hairs over it. It's not even that I don't care about the fight, it's that nothing more need be said. It's the only fight to make for either of them.
So everything that happens in between now and then is just a formality, including the Vok fight and the upcoming Christian Prenga fight. It's all just a prelude. An appetizer.
We're ready to cut into the main course. We've been ready for some years now, and here, on the eve of it, there is little to add to the conversation. It's time to fight. It's time to make it.
I saw Spencer Brown, who manages Tyson Fury, make the recommendation that the WBA manufacture a super title for both men to fight for.
But the WBA is said to be in a process of phasing out titles to limit them to just one per division, so I don't know if they can wrangle that. We'll see.
AJ versus Fury is big enough all by itself that you don't actually need a title to sell it.